Hey everyone, welcome to the Mr. Teacher, Mr. Preacher podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you for your patience as we get this video out amidst 2 vacations and flooring and family. We're here and we have a weekly primer last week on kind of the middle week between July and into August. So got a little extra time. We're going to jump in with our usual standard elements to prime you this week in your athletics, whether you're an athlete, coach, or parent. And that includes gratitude, smack talk, media, flow trigger of the week, and what we found that's interesting. Let's jump right in. Gratitude are weekly prompts. I'm going to read through them and maybe touch base on one, or at least clarify at least one. The first prompt for your good gratitude of the week is an extra large person in the far past that makes you feel a little bit pessimistic. How might that be a good thing? So massively sized person, think years or decades past, if you've lived that long or longer ways, and you're not really feeling too great about it, but that ended up being a good thing. Number 2 is an extra large opportunity in the far future that you get from just a limited point of view. So let's go from one other person. So it's third person limited. That made that as opportunity of jealousy. So there was an emotion of jealousy, extra large opportunity. Maybe somebody got to do something instead of you in the far future. Or if you're going from that third person perspective, they felt jealousy because maybe they missed out on something. How might that feel, and how might that be a good thing? A classic example, I do want to clarify this one, is Michael Jordan not making his team, the varsity team one year. Maybe he was jealous as he looked forward and what might be, and that was a good thing because then he trained even harder. So play with that a little bit. A third person point of view can be tricky sometimes. That is okay. Number 3, the third good gratitude weekly prompt is a medium thing in the near future. So think days, weeks, months. That would produce a feeling of overwhelm. You're overwhelmed by that. And it could be good overwhelm. It doesn't have to be negative. I think we think of overwhelm as a sheerly negative thing. But what happens if it was positive? Number 4. Large experience in the present. Now you can do this one from the first or any third person. So getting outside of yourself from another person's point of view. That has you a little bit grumpy. Might be a good thing. So how might the experience, a large experience in the present that makes you grumpy be a good thing? And your last one is an extra large, 2XL, not 3. Extra large, big person. Not literally, but like figuratively, played a big role in the far past that had the emotion of fiery, brought a little bit of fire into it. Okay, and that could be a positive thing or a negative thing. Either way, work with that. How might that be a good thing? Those are your weekly gratitude good prompts. Find the good in everything, and how might that work for you? Now, Smack Talk, we took a little bit of a sway here. These aren't as debatable. Some Smack Talks are. I'm using the Little League festivities, as you'll see later here in a moment, as kind of the inspiration for some of these questions. But, Smack Talk is a lot about social resilience. It's the ability to engage with another human being and banter back and forth in a playful and lighthearted way. So here, what are your questions that you could pose to your team and ask about, whether it's between teammates, player to coach, end of practice, before practice, after a game, or wherever it would seem fitting to get to know your team better. Number 1 is, who's your sports idol? Okay, so I imagine these in the League World Series, kind of those bio questions that kids get asked and they get to be on TV for the first time. Number 2, what is your and your team's greatest strength? So you personally, what element or strength do you bring to the team? Doesn't necessarily have to be a tool, as in we're in baseball, softball season. Doesn't have to be the hit tool or the run tool. It could be maybe more a character trait or an intangible. But what is your and your team's greatest strength? Number 3, what pregame rituals and or superstitions do you have? I'm going to talk about my nephew here in a couple moments, but he said, I only need to bring one pair of socks on this trip. And I was like, that is a baseball player superstition right there, if I've ever heard one. I'm not quite sure if he's going to wash them or not. Depends if you win, I suppose. Number 4, best way you deal with nerves and butterflies. Everybody does this a little bit differently. Upregulate, downregulate. And it's perfectly normal to have that nervous energy, that excitement. I'm excited idea. How do you deal with nerves and energy, nervous energy and butterflies? Number 5, last one, weekly dose of smack. What's something unique, quirky about you that's non-sport related? So this makes you stand out from the crowd a little bit. Some kids that I saw in the article a little bit later had all sorts of things. They could sing, they could play music, they were in acting, they had some sort of talent, like they could do a backflip. Maybe they have a YouTube channel. Who knows? What's something about you that is different? Number 3, movie and media. The last portion of this month of movie and media enthusiasm. And I'll admit, I wasn't thinking at the beginning of this month when I signed up for not one, but 2 series with Bananaland and Ted Lasso. I'm enjoying. Nonetheless, I'm catching up on hopefully finishing season 1 of each. I hope there's more Bananaland as we go. But Ted Lasso, I'm going to only go to the first one. So if you have any thoughts on Bananaland or Ted Lasso, maybe you have some comments about banana ball, the rules of banana ball compared to regular baseball. You're a traditionalist, you want to hold on to tradition, or maybe you just want to see Bananaland World Series, Little League World Series, Little Banana World Series. I don't know what that would be. It'd be kind of cool, though. Nonetheless, so that's what I'm catching up on. If you haven't seen either of those 2 yet, check them out because we're going to be moving to a new pillar next week, a friendship, and there'll be new movie and media that go with that. Next is a choose your trigger, flow trigger of the week. And again, flow triggers are preconditions or the things that have to happen beforehand that lead to more flow. Helps you focus because flow follows focus. And we covered a number of triggers all the way through industriousness and enthusiasm. And for this week, since we kind of have that middle week, we don't always get these throughout the year. Choose your trigger. So if you don't know the triggers, you can check out any of Stephen Kotler's work, Miai Csikszentmihalyi, Keith Sawyer, a Google image search, or some sort of AI will help you as well. But some of the more applicable ones we've talked about recently that have to do with enthusiasm include novelty, trying new stuff, all sorts of new unpredictability. You don't know what's going to happen or going to do something that is both novel and unpredictable. Could go anywhere. There's no known outcome. Or you don't even care about the outcome. That's another part of enthusiasm and fun and games and play that we don't talk about enough. Yes, and was a big part of the group flow trigger of being additive and not subtractive. And also there's shared risk. Anytime you're putting yourself out there, joy is connection, as it says, you're being vulnerable. That is a big part of enthusiasm is putting yourself out there and taking that risk with friends, teammates, and others. So choose your trigger this week and go for it. Last thing, something interesting, at least in the Vota, Nelson, Noel-ish family world. So my family, I'm feeling a bit nostalgic this week because the thing that I saw was that my nephew, Ty, is going to the Little League Regionals as the representatives from Minnesota to Indianapolis. And the reason why that's nostalgic is because I went when I was his age, the exact same age, the exact same place. We did not make it to the League World Series. Nonetheless, I am very, very excited for him. I wish them the best. Represent Coon Rapids Little League. I think they're the American Little League. We were national, but Crawl, CRALL. He'll be on ESPN Plus Friday night. That is 2 days from now, or this recording. I believe that is August 4th. Yep, that's August 4th. So I'll be tuning in, cheering him on. Super proud of him. Haven't, since I live a little farther away, I haven't been as involved in his baseball career as I would have hoped. But it's still been fun to see him grow and see the pictures of him even just a couple of years ago, and some, physical challenges he's overcome just size-wise and medically. He's a great kid, loves baseball, great swing. Can't wait to see how he grows. And along with that is Tim Kirchin wrote an article a couple of years ago, I think it is now, 2021. Said Little League World Series players say the darndest things. And it's true. If you want to see some enthusiasm, and by no means is Little League the only spot you can see this, but anytime you get youth sport at its best and you just get to see the sheer joy kids play with, that is great to see. So I can't wait for that. I hope they make it. We'll keep you in tune if they do, for sure. So thank you for watching, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to be up in the notch a little bit, finishing off this month of enthusiasm, July, with the power of fun and super better. 2 more deep reads, 1 more mini lesson, and then we'll start chopping things down for everybody, where we just get the nuts and bolts of here's 5 things we learned from this and a few things we learned from that. Make a lot of these episodes more accessible, as well as providing more links as we learn the YouTube and podcast way from others. So appreciate you. Thank you for learning along with us. And as always, never stop learning. Be well, everybody.